Man, I gotta say this, I am sick of making videos like this. I'm sick of being all negative about Call of Duty because in reality, I have played Call of Duty for upwards of like 16 years, and I've enjoyed the game year after year after year. Even though some years it has some shortcomings and problems, we always talk about those and try to make the game better as a whole. But over the last month and a half, Black Ops 6, Treyarch, Activision, and Microsoft have all made horrible decisions to take the launch of a game that people were truly enjoying and just smash it all apart. But here's the thing, with the end of the year coming up, I took a look back, and as it turns out, it wasn't just what was going on in the last month and a half, it's actually been what's going on for years in Call of Duty, which I believe has led to this point. And I wanted to make a video about this, and as I mentioned, I don't want to keep doing these negative videos on this channel, so here's what's going to go on. These more kind of highly edited videos, this is what's going to be going up on this channel. Story videos, we're going to break down older Call of Duties, deleted content, things like that, more highly edited videos on this channel. As far as opinions, playing other games, stream highlights, things like that, that's over on my second channel, link down below, Ink TV. We've been going crazy over there over the break through content, and you guys have been really enjoying it. So if you want to check out my second channel, link down below. Now, let me break this down. We're going to get more into the highly edited content, and I want to explain to you what exactly has happened to Call of Duty. First, to do that, we have to go back in time to 2023. So in the year 2023, Modern Warfare was released at an all-time low for Call of Duty. This was for a few reasons. First of all, coming off of Modern Warfare 2, there was a plethora of bad decisions and gameplay issues with that game, as well as some bad decisions made by Warzone 2.0 as well. It was also at this time when Modern Warfare was released, it got labeled a $70 DLC, where players were mad because basically all of the maps were remake maps and it didn't seem like a complete game. On top of that, with the campaign being released, we very quickly saw that this campaign was completely unfinished. But what was strange is what happened after that, because even with the claims of this being a $70 DLC, that December, player numbers actually rose as opposed to going down. There could be many reasons for this, whether this was the weekly challenges, seasonal camo challenges, faster gameplay mechanics that were introduced with Modern Warfare 3, and the support shown post-launch with tons of maps, something that we really didn't see within Modern Warfare 2, as that was the least supported 6v6 game, and Modern Warfare 3 was the most supported 6v6 mode. So because of this, for the first time, I think maybe ever, after the launch of a game going into December, the average player numbers of Call of Duty actually increased as opposed to dropping off. Now, it was also around this time where Microsoft acquired Activision, Blizzard, and King, therefore also acquiring Call of Duty. So what did the community think? They thought that Microsoft might actually be listening to the Call of Duty community and doing what they wanted and reassuring that the players were going to get the best possible experience under the brand of Microsoft. However, just 1 month later, actually, to be quite honest, a couple weeks later, this is what Microsoft did.
They sacked nearly 2,000 people. Most of the jobs came out of Activision Blizzard, with Xbox boss Phil Spencer saying that he was committed to a sustainable cost structure. Interesting that this happened in the exact same week that Microsoft achieved a $3 trillion market cap. Times are clearly very tough over there at Microsoft.
Thousands getting laid off, mostly, in fact, almost all of them underneath the Call of Duty brand. This is going to be something that is going to be a problem for Call of Duty, not just this year, not just next year, but in years to come. Many reasons could be looked at for this, which are going to appear later on in this video. The increased use of AI, reorganizing the structure of Call of Duty and how the games are released, and when those games were going to be released, and where that revenue is going to come from. Now, whether you loved or hated Modern Warfare 3, one thing that I will say is that the player numbers remained pretty stable throughout that year, most likely because of the things that we talked about, like those weekly events, good seasonal challenges, frequent content updates for both 6v6 and Warzone, but also fixing many of the issues that were caused by Modern Warfare 2. Even with all of the layoffs, they managed to improve players' sentiment towards Call of Duty, and then this was released.
If you weren't so distracted, you'd realize
nothing is what it seems. But if it's truth you seek, look in the dark.
And just like that, the Call of Duty hype cycle was in full effect. And so the largest market push ever for a Call of Duty game would begin. Now, with a bunch of things like the return of round-based zombies, classic prestiges coming back, a new weapon camo system, boomed just like that, they had the entire Call of Duty community in the palm of their hand, and with the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, we saw one of the largest releases for a Call of Duty game, if not the largest release for a Call of Duty game ever. And what's crazy about this is even weeks to nearly a month after the game was released, the sentiment was so high, people were enjoying the game, and boom, everything started to fall apart. Season 1 brought the brand new Warzone integration with Black Ops 6, but this is when the problems started to stack up. One of the first things that was noticed is the server issues, which included a slower tick rate as well as hit detection issues, which quickly Call of Duty later blamed on erroneous blood, which, let's be honest, is just completely gaslighting the community. I don't know where that word came from. Not to mention the packet burst issues and how poorly optimized the game is on PC. This all started a trend of players not being able to trust what Activision was telling them. All of a sudden, they were seeing this problem with servers, this problem with hit markers, and the problem with how the game felt as a whole. Not only could they not trust every single gunfight they got into, they also couldn't trust Call of Duty to come forward and be like, you're right, we have a problem here. They were just gonna gaslight their players and ignore everything that was going on and blame us for it somehow anyways. Shortly after this was the introduction of ranked play, the earliest we have ever received ranked play in a Call of Duty game, which is great, right? Well, as it turns out, it might not be the best thing in the world when you have an anti-cheat that doesn't work properly and shadow bans more innocent players than it stops actual hackers. Ranked play is more of a liability in this case than actually a good thing. Oh, then on top of that, like a week or two later, ranked play was added into Warzone as well, where the exact same hacker problem would become a huge issue once again. However, this time, if you actually beat a hacker, they would just crash the server or report you 100 times, therefore shadow banning you and not actually them, the person who is hacking.
Did the lobby just crash? 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 Did a hacker just?
Which, as per the Call of Duty update Twitter account, is apparently not even possible, but then the Twitter community notes would disagree with that, once again causing us not to be able to trust a word that Call of Duty is saying, not being able to trust anyone inside the game because it seems like everyone is hacking, and therefore you can see the snowball effect of this problem. Now, I've used this analogy before, but I'll say it one more time. You may have heard recently about the drone problem in New Jersey. People have been seeing a very high increased amount of drones. Now, you may be wondering where this comes from. Well, put it this way. If I look up into the sky and I see a drone flying through the air and I say, well, that's weird, and then I put that out on social media, more people in that area are going to start looking towards the sky. They're going to see birds, planes, and maybe more drones, and they might say, hey, those aren't normally there, and then they're going to put it on social media, and then more people are going to look to the sky, and more things are going to appear in the air, and some of those may be normal, in other words, people who are just good at Call of Duty, and others may be more hackers that you are starting to look for. This isn't out of the ordinary, but the problem is, once you have one strange thing happen, everything is up for speculation. Because there's one or 100 or even thousands of hackers, everyone is going to start to seem suspect. And when Call of Duty can't even come forward and tell us, hey, there is a problem with this, we need to do something about this, and this is our fault, they just deny it, we start to go crazy. Therefore, that problem once again begins. Then we have the AI problems. I have talked about this one for quite some time, but there were rumors for quite a while that Call of Duty, Activision, and the individual developers that were using AI inside the Call of Duty games for things like bundles, things along those lines. Well, enter the Christmas update for Black Ops 6, and this essentially confirmed that. The amount of fingers inside the game were less consistent than the in-game servers. Then we had an entire conversation about the Zombies actors leaving because of concerns about AI protection for their game. This was never addressed by Microsoft, by Activision, or Treyarch whatsoever. Once again, we realized that there was AI in the game with absolutely no disclosure as to when it was was being used. What this means is that every time a new image, a new update, anything is added into the game, we have to once again question what we are seeing, not knowing whether this was AI created by one of the devs in the game, or anything in between. We just didn't know because it wasn't disclosed whatsoever. Once again, ruining player trust over and over and over again. And I think at this point you can see quite a big trend. Now, this is the one that I have not talked about on this channel yet. However, I did talk about it over on my second channel, Ink TV. You should go check that out. And that is the egregious monetization of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. As we mentioned, we had a very strong release for Black Ops 6, and I think that Microsoft, Activision, and even Treyarch have seen this as, well, we got to strike while the iron's hot, therefore we're going to charge for everything. First of all, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is a $70 premium game. Now, in Christmas, they did reduce that to $20 just at Costco, but they also probably had some deal going on with Costco with that as well as another way to make money. Yes, you can play Warzone for free, but as we know, Black Ops 6 is that premium title. Then we have the Battle Pass, which you can buy itself, or you can get the premium version of it with Black Cell, that which not only gives you premium items in the Battle Pass, but also gives you premium items in events, as well as some bundles that you have to pay for as well. So on top of the Battle Pass, we also have the bundles, which this year they have gone crazy with, and on top of that, increase the price for those as well. We'll enter the event that is coming out in a couple of days from now, the Squid Games event, the crossover with the Netflix TV show. A lot of people were excited about this for the gameplay elements and even for the skins. But as we find out, this event has a lot more than meets the eye, because with a recent post, we have found out that with this event, we're not only going to have the event, but there's also going to be a premium track to this. Now, if you're not familiar with Fortnite has this with a lot of their events, and basically, just like Call of Duty, you'll be able to get a bunch of XP and work your way through the event, but you can only get all of the items if you pay for the premium side of this event. And I want to be clear about this, crystal clear. I don't have a problem, not one single problem with any of these modes of monetization. Battle Pass, don't care. Bundles, don't care. Even the events that you have to pay for, I don't care. But when you're also paying a $70 premium for the game that you have to buy every single year, and a lot of these events are not going to carry over forever, all of these rewards you're getting when the new Modern Warfare game comes around or something else comes around, we don't get to keep these. That is where the problem begins. With Fortnite, it is a free-to-play game that you retain all of the things that you actually get for all of the modes, whether you're playing first person, whether you're playing third person, build, non-build, or even their new first-person shooter that's a lot like Counter-Strike. You get to keep all of this year after year after year, and the game is free. You see where the problem starts to come in here. And on top of all of this, we have all of these issues like servers, hackers, all of these problems all combined. People are complaining about them, and they are more focused on putting out paid for content than they are about actually fixing their game. It's not about people enjoying the game, it's about people spending their money. And there's so many ways of spending money at this point, whether that be Black Cell, whether that be the Battle Pass, whether that be bundles, or whether that be premium events. Basically, at this point, it is easier to afford your car payments than it is to play Call of Duty every single month. And this, I haven't even talked about skill-based matchmaking or engagement optimized matchmaking at all yet either. I don't even really need to talk about this one because we all know this and we all know it's not going anywhere. We've talked about this over and over and over again, but on top of this, they've also adjusted this year the amount of XP we are earning on different maps. So if you play a smaller map like Stakeout or Nuketown, you're actually going to get less XP per kill than you are on a bigger map like Vorkuta or something along those lines, which in conjunction with skill-based matchmaking or engagement optimized matchmaking really just makes Call of Duty feel like you're playing this curated content, that they are just putting you through this maze where they know every single step of the way how much XP you're going to gain per game because they can curate who you're playing against to know exactly how many kills you're going to be able to get. It is completely disingenuous. It doesn't feel like you're actually playing something to do better or do worse. Everything is just how they want it, because if it's how they want it, there's a higher likelihood that you are going to spend more money on those ridiculous amount of things that we just talked about. So any one of these things I don't think would be a overwhelming problem for the Call of Duty community. When we just had the problem with skill-based matchmaking, when it was just one thing, I think we were pretty okay with just that. Yeah, no one really liked it, but it was tolerable. And then the server issues come in, and then the hackers, and then all of the monetization, and then the AI, and then all of this has just balled up all together to a snowball coming down the hill so fast that we see these insane player numbers. Upwards of 40% of players have dropped off of Black Ops 6, off of Call of Duty, off of Warzone in 1 month. The biggest drop that I think Call of Duty has ever seen. And you wonder why? Well, look at everything that we just talked about. And when there is all of these problems, and then there's a bunch of other great games that have come out, like Marvel Rivals, we have Delta Force, we have Fortnite. Yeah, they're not all the same as Call of Duty, but you know what? Maybe they're fun. Maybe they're not having you play the game with their hand in your pocket, waiting for any little bit of change to fall out, because they don't care if you're enjoying your time or not. They just care that you are spending your money. And that's sad, because I am making this video, and yes, I am incredibly frustrated, but I am making this because I love Call of Duty. I've done this for years. I have done this full-time for like 5, 6, 7 years, and I love the Call of Duty community. I love what we have built here. But when you see poor decisions from upper management just destroy the thing that you love, you have to put your voice out there. You have to be heard. And hopefully I was able to get this across in a very succinct way. I don't blame you if with the current state of Call of Duty, you don't want to play. It is okay. And that is why over the next little while, we're going to be diving more into story. We're going to be diving more into older Call of Duty games. We're going to be breaking down deleted and removed scenes and deleted and removed content from older Call of Duty games. We are going to be going hard in a way that you have never seen before on this channel. And it all starts next week. Just after New Year's, I believe the weekend after, I think the 5th or 6th is when content is going to start to come in hard, and I hope you guys are excited for it. So make sure you're subscribed. If you're ready for higher edited content, this is the channel for you. If you want more hot takes and videos like this one, check out my second channel, Ink TV, link down in the description. We do a bunch of other things over there, like play other games and things like that. I'm working on Astrobot right now, so yeah, there's going to be lots of content. Thank you for watching this one. Sorry if I was a little angry, and until next time. Peace.
We are reaching for the